Have you ever moved into a new house and felt like something was different? Not scary, just strange. That's exactly what happened to Emma when her family moved into an old house in a quiet American neighborhood. The house looked completely normal from the outside. White walls, a little front porch, a huge backyard, and an old mailbox that made a weird sound every time the wind blew. But on Emma's very first night, she noticed something. There was a tiny door underneath the staircase, and nobody in her family knew what was behind it. Emma wanted to open it immediately, but her mom said, "Maybe tomorrow." Emma smiled. Okay, but she already knew she wasn't waiting until tomorrow. Chapter 45. The new house. The next morning, Emma woke up early. Her family had boxes everywhere. The living room was full of furniture. The kitchen had dishes stacked on the counter. And somehow, Emma's little brother had already lost his favorite toy. "Welcome to moving day," Emma said. Her dad walked into the room carrying a giant box. "Where should I put this?" Emma pointed toward the kitchen. "Kitchen." Dad looked at the box. "It says bathroom." Emma laughed. "Then definitely the kitchen." After breakfast, Emma decided to explore the house. She checked her new bedroom, then the backyard, then the garage, and finally, the staircase. There it was, the tiny door. Emma looked around. Nobody was. She slowly opened it. Creak. Emma froze. Inside was a small storage room. There were old boxes, a broken lamp, and a dusty wooden chair. But sitting on the chair was something interesting. A blue notebook. To 320. The notebook. Emma picked up the notebook. On the cover were 3 words, "For the next family." What? Emma opened it. The first page said, "If you're reading this, you now live in this house." Emma laughed nervously. Okay, that's creepy. But then she kept reading. The notebook had been written by a girl named Lily. Lily had lived in the house many years earlier. She wrote about the neighborhood, the school, the park, her favorite pizza place, and her friends. But near the end of the notebook, Lily wrote something strange. "There is one secret about this house." Emma's eyes got wider. She turned the page. The next sentence said, "The secret is hidden where the family spends the most time." Emma immediately started thinking. The kitchen, the living room, the backyard. She ran downstairs. 32040, the search. Emma started searching everywhere. She looked under the couch. Nothing. Behind the television. Nothing. Inside the kitchen cabinets. Only cereal. She checked the refrigerator. Milk, cheese, and one suspicious-looking leftover pizza. Emma stared at it. "I don't think the secret is pizza." Then she heard her brother. "Emma!" She turned around. "What? I found your notebook." Emma looked confused. "That isn't my notebook." Her brother held up the blue notebook. Emma ran over. "Where did you find that?" He pointed toward the backyard. Emma followed him outside. Behind the house was an old tree, and carved into the tree were 2 letters. L+E. Emma remembered the notebook. Lily. Maybe the second letter meant someone else. Then Emma noticed something underneath the tree. A small metal box. The box. Emma picked up the box. It had a tiny lock. Unfortunately, she didn't have a key. Her brother smiled. "I know where the key is." Emma looked at him. "You do?" He nodded confidently. "Dad's junk drawer." Emma laughed. "That's not a real place." "Oh, yes, it is." They ran inside. Dad's famous junk drawer contained everything. Batteries, old receipts, rubber bands, screwdrivers, 3 pens that didn't work, and somehow, a tiny key. Emma grabbed it. They ran back outside. She put the key into the lock. Click. The box opened. Inside was a collection of photographs. There was Lily, her family, her friends, and pictures of the neighborhood from years ago. But underneath the photos was one final note. Number 6 to 720. The message. Emma unfolded the note. It said, "A house isn't special because of its walls." Emma continued reading. "It's special because of the people who fill it with memories." Then there was another sentence. "If your family ever moves here, make your own memory and leave something behind for the next family." Emma smiled. So that was the secret. There wasn't treasure. There wasn't anything scary. The secret was a tradition. Every family that lived in the house was supposed to leave something behind. Something meaningful. Emma ran inside and told her parents everything. Her mom smiled. "That is actually beautiful." Dad nodded. "So what are we leaving?" Emma thought for a moment. "I know exactly what." 7:20 to 8:50, Emma's idea. That evening, the whole family sat around the kitchen table. Emma brought out a blank notebook. She wrote, "For the next family." Then, everyone added something. Dad wrote about the first dinner they cooked in the house. Mom wrote about the first morning she watched the sunrise from the backyard. Emma's brother drew a picture of the family. And Emma wrote, "Today we discovered that this house has a secret." She paused, then added, "The secret is that every family gets to leave a little piece of their story behind." The family laughed. Then Emma had one more idea. They took a family photo. Everyone stood in front of the house, even the dog, although the dog refused to look at the camera. Of course. 8:50, 10, 20 years later. Years passed. Emma eventually grew older, she went to college, her brother grew up, her parents continued living in the house, but Emma never forgot the blue notebook. One summer, she returned home. Her mom handed her a letter. It was addressed to Emma. Emma opened it. The letter said, "Someone found the notebook." Emma's eyes widened. Apparently, a new family had moved into the neighborhood. They had discovered the hidden box. And they had added their own photograph. Emma couldn't believe it. The tradition was continuing. She opened the notebook again. There were now pages from several different families. Each family had written about their favorite memories. One family wrote about their first Thanksgiving in the house. Another wrote about a huge snowstorm. Someone else wrote about their dog learning to run in the backyard. The house wasn't just a house anymore. It had become a collection of stories. Number 10, 20, 11, 40. Then Emma noticed something. There was a brand new page. The handwriting looked familiar. It was from her little brother. He had written, "Dear Next Family." Emma laughed. Her brother had secretly added his own message. It said, "If you're reading this, you probably found the secret." Then, "Don't waste your time looking for money." Emma laughed even harder. The next line said, "There isn't any." Then he added, "But there are memories." Emma looked around the room. For a moment, she realized something. The house had changed. The furniture had changed. The people had changed. But the stories remained. 11:40 to 12 message. That night, Emma went back to the little door underneath the stairs. She placed the notebook inside. But before closing the door, she added one final page. She wrote, "If you're reading this someday, I hope this house becomes more than just a place where you live. I hope you laugh here. I hope you celebrate here. I hope you make mistakes here. I hope you make memories here. And finally, and when it's your turn to leave, leave a story behind." Emma closed the notebook. Then she closed the tiny door, ending CTA. The next morning, Emma stood on the front porch. She looked at the old mailbox, the same mailbox that had made that strange sound years ago. She smiled. Maybe the house had never really been keeping a secret. Maybe it had been keeping memories, and sometimes the most valuable thing a family can leave behind isn't money. It's a story. So here's the question. If you could leave one message for the next family living in your house, what would you write? Tell me in the comments, and remember, every house has walls, but the best homes have stories.
Nham nham.
तो दोस्तों, आज की मज़ेदार कहानी यहीं ख़त्म होती है। अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक करें, चैनल क्यूट गर्ल टी को सब्सक्राइब करें और ऐसी ही